Welcome back to the quest, where on the surface things seem to be going really well, but I'm not convinced that they're going to continue like that for much longer. So here's the league table, 8 games played, we're top of it, 3 points clear, Dynamo are bottom, goodness knows what's going on this season. It looks like we are having the best season that we could have possibly wished for, but honestly, performances are not that good. We might be top, but I think that's more to do with other teams underperforming rather than us doing well. We've played 8 matches, we've only won 4 of them, the other 4 have been draws, and even though we've brought you back tonight for the first game of the Europa League phase, we very nearly didn't get through to that phase at all. In our last episode, you saw us going to Glasgow and beating Rangers 3-1. Well, in the return leg, we dominated the tie. We had goals disallowed. We really should have scored not just once, but possibly twice. We ended up losing the game 2-0. It went to extra time. We couldn't find a breakthrough. Eventually, the tie was settled on a penalty shootout. Fortunately, we scored all of ours to make progress in Europe. But it was another game where we failed to score as many goals as we should. And that's been the problem that we've been experiencing thus far. So tonight we're taking on Apoel Nicosia in the Europa League phase. And I've tweaked the tactic a little. I know I will get the usual accusations of being the Tinkerman. I also fear I might get accusations of being the little llama that cried wolf, saying about how tough it's been so far. And yet we're unbeaten in domestic competition and top of the league. But I've been watching the games. Honestly, we've not been purring. Maybe that's because I've brought a lot of new additions into the club and they're still settling. Maybe it's because many of them are still learning the language. So the dynamics might not be too clean quite yet. But we really are struggling to score enough goals to kill games off. Since that Rangers fixture, we've had a 1-1 draw against Varaždin. Varaždin were not that high in the league when we took them on. Probably 1-1 was a fair result given the match stats. We even might have lost this game, and we had some poor performances where we brought some of our backup players into the squad. There was a goal for our Spanish striker, Mari, and we thought maybe he might be the player that would get on a bit of a roll and start banging in the goals. Not a bit of it. Unfortunately, he's picked up an injury. He could be out for the next 3 months. So he is not going to be the answer to our goal-scoring problems tonight. After that Varaždin game, then we played Rangers, which required the penalty shootout. And we've won the last 2, but again, they were fairly nervy affairs. We beat Rijeka 1-0. They had the better of the XG. That could easily have been a 0-0 draw, or we might even have lost it. And in the most recent game, we played Rudesh, who were bottom of the table at the time when we played them. And this was the first game since I tweaked our tactic a little, and it seems like it might have had some effect. We had an XG of 2.12. We had 19 shots, only 9 of them were on target, which was a bit of a worry. But we had a further goal disallowed, and we managed to score 3 on the night, although 2 of them were from set plays. The goal by Cresswell and Samardzic both came from a corner and an indirect free kick. So it was only really the goal from Reyes that we scored from open play. We have been handed European games against Apoel, Norway's Molde. We've also got Tottenham Hotspur, Nice, our old foes, the non-stop solutions, as well as Adana and Napoli and Feyenoord. So some tough games in there. Adana, by the way, will mean that we reunite with our old pal Tiny Chuk, who we sold to them for just shy of £2 million in the summer. I bet you any money he scores a hat-trick in that game. So we've got some toughies in there. Certainly the games against Napoli and Spurs, I think, will be difficult. I think there might be some winnable games, and we could get off to a good start by beating Cyprus's Apoel and Norway's Molde, although Molde are a club that might be a tricky destination to go to for an away game. But if we could go out to Spurs with 6 points to our name already, then that would be absolutely superb. But we've got to get 3 of them tonight against Apoel. So let's run you through our goal-scoring woes, and maybe you can help me diagnose what exactly the problem is and who our best attacking duo would be. Alberto Mari is now out of the reckoning. He was never the quickest player that we signed in the summer, but he got good mentals. He was a good finisher. And I thought that as a leading striker, maybe not as a poacher, but as more of a withdrawn player, he might have been good. But I'm afraid he's going to be missing until around Christmas time. And he got 1 goal in the 5 appearances that he made, only 2 of them starts. The other player who started really well and I thought was going to be great for us this season was old JT Joe Taylor. He scored, I think, in his first 2 games for the club, but then has not scored again since and is on a bit of a barren run. We've just had a little chat about how he needs to start scoring goals soon, so he's become a little bit of a worry. The player I'm really disappointed with is Benny Traore. He's managed to get 1 goal in the league so far. He's made 5 starts. He's had 3 substitute appearances. He's not scored in European competition either. He looks very, very quick. He's a good finisher. He's composed. His off-the-ball movement is also quite decent. But I'm afraid so far, he's not really been the prolific striker that we hoped. And if anything, he's actually proved himself to be a fluffer of chances, as has Bartol Cardum. Now, most of his appearances have been off the bench, and I didn't really bring him to the club just thinking he was going to be a striker. I did toy with the idea during pre-season of also switching and playing wide men and just a central midfield too, and I thought maybe Cardum might be good as one of those wide players, but so far this season I've stuck with the formation that did well for us at the end of the last campaign and kept those 2 strikers up front. Cardum's going to come in today. I'm going to try and play them as a deep lying forward. Physically, they look good. Mentally, they look good. Technically, granted, there are some gaps. But we're hoping that maybe those 2 might just fire us to victory today. The player that's on the bench that's starting to grumble about their lack of game time is Milivoje Rasander. They were okay last season. They got 8 goals in 28 games, although only 15 of them were games that they started. And we've also got Nets Ameyer, who I'm now starting to think might be the solution for us up front, because I know that they have a goal or 8 in their locker, despite the fact that they barely played a game as a striker for us last season. They've been out with an injury for about a month. Daniek, who is a good source of goals for us from midfield, well, he's been injured for about 3 weeks as well. Those 2 are fit enough for the bench, but not fit enough to start. So we're going to have to hope that the likes of Traore and Cardum are on the score sheet for us tonight to try and get our Europa League campaign off to a winning start in the league phase. So I think the main reason that we're currently top of the league and that we've been winning games is not because we've been scoring many goals from open play, but we now have 3 very big, very strong, very powerful centre halves, and they have been coming up for set pieces and getting the goals for us that have either got us ahead in games or scored late on, so we were able to grab points in matches where it looked like we would draw. So I'd love to get your opinions down in the comments on where you think we might be able to just tweak our tactic to try and get more goals from our forward players, which strikers you think might be our best bet going forward to create a strike duo, but also what are your preferred roles for strikers when you play 2 up front? Which roles do you find work well in tandem together? Which ones do you think maybe create chances for each other and score the most goals? Maybe this game will prove that all of this is unnecessary because one of our strikers has just thumped a header in at the far post. It's Vasquez, our Spanish wingback, that gets forward down the left. We have tweaked his role from support to attack. We've brought Cardum into the team, but tonight he's playing as a deep-lying forward, only on a support duty, and he's risen at the far post. He has nodded that header home, and even though we've only had 1 effort this game, it's gone in. And now we go in search of a second as Samardzic gives the ball away over on the right flank. Adebayo steps into midfield and wins it back. Here's Cardum again. Sends it back to Samardzic. He's had a good sight of goal. He's whisked his effort over the bar. This is a promising start. 4 shots already, 2 of them on target. We're currently sat second in the league, although it's very, very early stages. And Apoel have a free kick of their own. They fire it over the bar. We could do with a second goal before half-time. Our opponents from Cyprus have got a throw-in. They're giving away possession quite a lot in this game so far, but then we've returned the ball straight back to them as well. They come forward with Solomou. Now Theophanis, he sent it into the box. We head it clear, but we've got more work to do as they have a shot from distance. Samardzic almost brings the ball clear, but again the Cypriots come forward. Michaelis now hits the byline, sends in a little cross, and the ball just keeps coming back at us. Traore, I thought, almost gave away a penalty there. We still can't clear our lines. They come again, and finally Bunty comes out and claims the ball. But that was a little bit of a nervous passage of play, and they're coming at us again. A throw-in over on their left means that they get another ball into the box. We're good at heading these clear, but they're not staying clear for very long. And Bunty is going to be tested again, I fear, as this ball goes into the box. He's gone to the far post. Theophanis, Christou, and there is the bunts. He tips another one over the bar. Bunty, by the way, I'm not sure whether you spotted earlier when we showed you the league table. He has the third highest average rating of any player in the league and the most clean sheets so far this season. So in terms of trying to solve our goalkeeping deficiencies, I thought that he might be a small upgrade, but not much on Hraniek. But so far, he's proved himself very, very useful. And we've had to call on him tonight already as our Cypriot opponents have come roaring back into this game. We are now, on about the 38-minute mark. They've had as many shots as we have. But ours have resulted in 2 of them being on target and 1 of them being a goal. And it's not like we've been as convincing as I thought we were going to be when this game started so brightly for us. Here's one of our set plays. Creswell rises at the near post. It's gone harmlessly over the crossbar. And I feel we've still got a lot of work to do in the second period. So here we come again at the start of the second half, looking to try and stretch our lead. And we could have done just that. Reyes looked offside to me. But have we made a dream start to this second half? I thought there would be a VAR review. I don't think they even checked it. I thought that Reyes was a mile offside here. As the ball came into the box, well, apparently, he's fine. We will take it. I think it's Vasquez again that has set it up. This will tell us more about the offside. Traore, to be fair, was involved in the build-up play. And then Vasquez sends a little ball into the box. And lucky for us, Reyes pounces on the chance and now makes it 2-0. We're on about the 62-minute mark. I think now we'll just bring some fresh faces into the game, see if we can nab a third. 2 fresh faces enter the fray, and one of them is JT, who's come on up front for the disappointing poacher that we were playing. Really didn't see a lot of him apart from his build-up in that second goal. It just seems to me that we don't really have a striker that's in tune with the rest of the team. Maybe we're not creating enough chances for them, but they're certainly not getting good average ratings. We've made it all the way to 86 minutes. The Cypriots send a corner into the box, and they've got a goal back with just 4 minutes remaining. We've got a couple of tired legs out there, so we might just make our final 3 substitutions, but we could be clinging on for the final portion of this game. If they get an equaliser, then our great start in Europe is going to evaporate. So although we have improved the squad, it's still not as deep as we would like. And even though we've just tried to freshen things up to try and see this game out, you can see that we've got tired players in all departments of the pitch. And unfortunately, one of the substitutions we just made was to bring Zumba on for Babanya. Zumba has got himself injured already, and we've now got to play out the final minute of this game plus stoppage time with a man less on the field. We're going to have a bit of a rejig and see how we can try and see this game out. So this could be a backs-to-the-wall period in stoppage time. We've just got 1 striker on the pitch, otherwise our formation has remained unchanged. But we've now got a striker playing in midfield because I couldn't make any more substitutions. We almost gift the opponents a goal. We call Bunty into action once more. He gets down low to his right and clears the ball behind for a corner, which we've managed to clear, but they're coming forward again. They've beat Neymar at fullback. He's managed to get the ball away eventually. We've still got 6 minutes of stoppage time to try and navigate, and with 3 minutes of them still on the clock, well, the Cypriots have possession of the ball once more. Pupil nicks in, steals the ball, has a very tame shot of his own. He could have taken it out to the corner flag. That would have been more useful. We've now played 7 minutes of stoppage time. Still Apoel coming forward. They send the ball into the box. I thought they were going to slot that one home. It's somehow been smuggled behind for yet another corner, which they send into the box. Reyes manfully heads it away, but they're coming again. Hubel hacks one off the line. Finally, the referee puts us out of our misery. That was anything but comfortable. But it is at least a winning start to our European campaign. So as you can see, we are one of a number of clubs that managed to open their Europa League phase campaign with a win on match day 1. But we're going to have much sterner tests ahead, both domestically and in Europe. We're going to play a few of those European games off camera, and by the time you come back for our next episode, we'll see whether we've got any chance of qualifying for the knockout rounds.